So raising children to embrace faith and spirituality can be difficult if not done correctly. Joining us this morning to speak on the topic is pastor of Hagley Park Seventh-day Adventist, Omar Oliphant, and counselor intern, all the way in foreign, Tashika Witter. Good morning to you both. Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Good morning, Neville.
Good morning,
Pastor,
Eva. Good
Pastor,
morning, Tashika. Good morning,
yeah,
beautiful
Pastor, what I
Jamaica.
just said about faith and spirituality, that means going to church?
Well, Neville, the matter of faith today is being explored by many individuals in different ways. Of course, you know that traditionally, and for believers like myself, church is very important. It's fundamental to the building of our faith. But there are a number of individuals who are exploring alternative ways of serving God, especially during the pandemic, including watching YouTube, spending time with small groups. And so the concept of faith can be explored in one's life in numerous ways. But yes, church is critical. It's foundational for that exploration.
Okay. Tashika, who is a counselor intern?
Well, actually, in the United States, we are a counselor intern before we become licensed professional counselors. So an intern is actually on her way, or the person's on their way to getting their license. So
Okay.
just to complete the exam and go through the process, and then you become an actual counselor.
Okay. So tell me, if you were speaking to me as a father, and I'm being very serious here, and I'm not certain how to approach this topic to my youngsters, what would you tell me to do?
Okay, so for one, you have to understand where your youngster is, the age and stage of development. When I received the information, we're looking at age between the ages of 7 and 13. Now, at this stage, the child is going through a lot. And as you know, Neville, our children that are born today, they learn so much, they're exposed to so much via social media, etc. So they have their own way of thinking, what they see. So if you're introducing faith to your child, you have to bear in mind that this child may not understand it the way you see it based on their age of development. They may be going through different experiences, learning different things, at age 12, 13, the teenage age, or exploring who am I, etc. So they may not see faith the way you see it. So it does require a lot of patience and teaching and understanding and encouraging for your child to understand what faith is. Why are you trying to teach this to me? What am I supposed to learn? What are the expectations that you're having of me as your child?
Okay. Pastor Mar, sometimes someone will say, I am not religious, I'm spiritual. Is there a difference there, Pastor?
Well, yes, there's fundamentally a difference. The Pew Research Institute, along with the Barna Group study, has been exploring the difference between the religious and the spiritual. And for millennials, especially, and Gen Zs, they're moving away from the traditional understanding of faith in terms of an institution. They're seeing it more as a spiritual exercise where they manifest and they have received the love of God, etc. And they do things such as meditation and prayer. And so what you see is there is a current shift in the secular world in terms of what is religion and how that interfaces rather with matters of spiritual life. And that distinction is being made because much of the millennial generation are not, what would we say, enthused about traditional religious institutions and the traditions that they have underpinned their religious experience over time. And so people are not moving away from God, so to speak, because you'll speak to individuals who will say, yes, I believe in God, but me now I go church. I pray, but me now go in at the temple. That kind of experience, a lot of individuals are speaking of in today's society.
Tashika, that's a problem because I am one of those people. I grew up in the church. I was actually an altar boy. I went to a Catholic school. Anyone knows me, I bless myself I tell the story every time I pass a homeless person. I bless myself and I kind of ask God to look after them. Is that a problem that, yeah, I tell you that I believe in the Heavenly Father. I know He's everything for me, but I don't go to church. Is that an issue?
It may not be an issue for you because of your connection with Christ and how you feel like you have to execute that relationship with God. But if we're going to the context of you having children here, Neville, a lot of I know we've heard this saying or the term like you speak so loudly. No, what you do speak so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. Right. So if you have a child you're trying to train in the faith, if you are behaving in that way, yes, you had your connection, you know who God is, etc. You may have your little silent prayers, etc. But if you are not encouraging your child by being a model, what you do, and you're saying go to church, you send them to church every week, but you're not going, the child after a while loses interest because they want to be like dad or mom, and they're trying to say, okay, if you believe in God this way, I want to believe in God the way you believe in God, and it's okay for me to do what you are doing.
Yeah.
So it's just being mindful as a parent. Is that okay for your child? Is that what you want to behaviors you want the child to manifest? You have to really contemplate if that's the direction you want to go.
So, Pastor Omar, let me ask you the same question I asked Tashika earlier. How do I teach my child about faith and spirituality when I don't go to church? Even though I believe.
Yes, and that's very critical level. Not only for the child, but also for individuals like yourselves who actually feels that, yes, I can experience faith outside of the realm of church. It's very important that the church now rethinks how we do the ministry, how we do the reaching out, how we do the teaching and education of individuals like yourself, and also the millennial and the Gen Z generation that is coming up right after that. So it's very important. I reached out to a millennial this morning and I asked her, share with me some of the things that you think are important. And at the very top of the conversation, she said to me, living a life of example is very important. I will model what you do. I will follow what you do. But when that is not seen in the home circle, especially, it loses its influence. Also, it's very important, apart from modeling, that we consider that people learn differently. And I think that's part of the struggle that the church has had to and will continue to contend with, is that the way in which we as adults digest faith and assimilate faith is not necessarily the same way this generation is going to do so. And we have to now explore new ways, creative ways, thinking outside of the box, remaining true to the mission, remaining true to the message. But we have to think outside of the box to captivate the attention, the imagination of the generation. And it's very important, Neville, in that respect, that we explain why. Why are these things important? Why the reasoning with the children is very important. To be able to have a conversation is very important. The days of saying children must be seen and not heard are long gone. But some religious individuals are still holding on to that perspective. Yeah. You're not listening to the children. You're not listening to their youth. You're not listening to their millennials. And because of that, you cannot engage them in a healthy, wholesome conversation about things relating to faith.
Yeah, boy, I wish I had so much more time. There's so many more things I want to say. In another community, when I had my daughter, I took her to the church and asked the pastor to christen her. And he asked me if I would come to church. True story. And I said no. And he refused to christen her. He said he would bless her, but he wouldn't christen her because I said after he did it, I would not go to church. I still have a problem with that. I actually flew her to Jamaica and got her baptized here in Jamaica. So good to see you both. Really wish I had much more time. God bless you both. And thanks.
Thank you very much, Neville.
Before I go, Tashika, you're not in Jamaica. Want to say hi to anyone?
Oh, just everyone in the Adventist faith, EJC, sending my love to family and friends.
All right. God bless you both. Pastor of Hagley Park, Seventh-day Adventist Omar Oliphant, and Counselor Intern, all the way in foreign, folks, without an accent. Didn't I see Tashika with her? All right, so what are you guys eating this summer? Well, on the other side of the break, our friends from Little Bits share some healthy options. Not surprising. Delia will have that one.
Yeah, no.